Welcome. I am so glad to be back. It's your girl Autumn with ADQM Solutions, and we're back for prime time. But this time it's a Q&A. So join us as these wonderful business owners actually open up to be able to answer your questions, support what you have going on, so we can support one another. So I'm going to introduce everyone. Let's bring on Grand Rev Financial,
Hello.
Layer 3 Network,
Hey, everybody.
and Miss Get You Together.
Hey y'all.
So we're so awesome. We're so happy to be back. The week that we had that break in between, I truly missed everybody. I really did. It was so different not being around and kind of it was really different. So everyone, if you're watching, go ahead and post any questions that you have as a business owner, entrepreneur, and we will just add it onto the agenda. Make room for part 2 if need be. We did receive a lot of questions, and we're going to just kind of randomly just go through a bunch of them. Hopefully we provide the support and the feedback that you really are looking for to make sure you get your answers heard. So I just want to briefly allow everyone to introduce themselves as far as to the standpoint of what your business does, so that way they can understand the feedback that we're going to provide. Wadeline, would you like to go first?
Yes, sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Wadeline Charles with Grand Rep Financial. Really, we just help everyone, businesses to individuals, increase their wealth overall by providing through our accounting services. We do have 4 core areas. It's bookkeeping, CFO services, payroll, tax, and life insurance. So really encompassing the necessary components to making sure that we're helping our clients achieve their ultimate dreams.
Awesome. Luke?
Hey, everybody. How you doing? I'm Luke Lewis, the Chief Service Officer of Layer 3 Network. And in a nutshell, Layer 3 Network is responsible for taking the exposure that you currently have and taking it to the next level in the areas of podcasting, creating videos that promote your business, as well as we have some secret sauce that we do, a sort of a TED Talk platform that gives business owners an opportunity to discuss their now and next for their business.
Awesome. And Miss Get You Together.
Herself.
I am Coach Michelle Kennedy, Miss Get You Together herself, coming through the building to get you together. I am a certified master coach, and I am owner and chief operator and trainer of Embrace You Training Solutions, where whatever your training needs is, we got you covered. We're currently running several programs. The one that will be starting as of August 1st will be our 6th session of life coaching certification, and we'll be offering both life coaching and Christian coaching. So if you're interested in being a life coach, you can hit us up on all social media platforms at Coach Michelle Kennedy or Embrace You Training Solutions. And you can also go to our website, embraceforyou.com, customized by Autumn at ADQM Solutions. So if you need a website, she got you covered. Also, any coaching you need, whether it's business coaching, life coaching, marriage, divorce, single, grief, relationship, whatever type of coaching it is that you need, me and my team of coaches have you covered. So anytime that you need to take your life to that next level, just come through and let me get you together, because every good player needs a coach.
She be getting it. So I obviously did not share this to ADQM's page. I think I'm just that excited. So I'm like, why is it not on the page? So it's on my personal page, which is cool because it usually comes back here anyway. So definitely I'm gonna have to go ahead and make sure I'm multitasking during this live, but it's cool. Hey, we adjust and adapt. That's pretty cool.
Right, and that's how we get it done.
That's how we get it done. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna jump in. And this question is, can you start a business with small or no money?
I'll go ahead and chime in on that. Yes, you can. Because you really think about it. A lot of people think like, oh my gosh, in order to start my business, I'm gonna need so much capital down. Yes, depending on what type of business you want to start, you do need certain capital. So definitely starting with, hey, what am I trying to get accomplished? Am I product based? Even if you're product based, you can start your business and do like crowdfunding if you don't have, or for the actual prototype. To get more money to go ahead and sell your products, because a lot of people sometimes don't even have the product. They don't
My
they
bad.
don't have the actual products just yet, but they want to go ahead and start. So a lot of businesses still do like crowdfunding, things like that, go in front of investors. You're still a business, even though you haven't generated capital yet, or even needed to put much capital into the business.
That was some good feedback. That was really
Very
good.
good.
Yeah. So I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. And I'm like I said, I got my paper, so I'm going around circle. Is it okay to take multiple risks and chances as an entrepreneur? Someone actually, when they commented and wrote, they said they were scared. So go ahead, go for it. Let's get you together. Go ahead.
So I think it believes on. I think it depends upon why you're scared. Because if you're scared because you don't want to fail, my brother used to tell me, "Scared money don't make money." If you're scared because it's something that you've never done before, get a coach, get a mentor. If you're scared because you've not done your due diligence, be scared and do the work. I think a lot of businesses fail really fast because due diligence wasn't done. You didn't do the research. You didn't invest in finding out what you needed to do, how you needed to structure your business, what your business model is going to look like. Because we have a hobby, or we have something that we do, and we make a little bit of money. Then we want to run out and say I'm an entrepreneur or I'm a boss because they think it's cute. Truth of the matter is, boss ain't being cute. I mean, most of the time you uncute as a boss.
Yep.
Because it's a lot of work and grind in it, especially if you're starting a business with your own money or with little money. That means you got to work double time. So it really depends on why you're scared. If you've done everything you need to and you still scared, everything I do scared.
That's good. Feedback. You have to research and educate yourself as much as possible.
Yes, absolutely.
Thanks, Naja. She's awesome. She's a go-getter too.
Yeah, she in it. She in it.
Right.
Anybody else want to chime in on that one as far as taking multiple risks and chances as an entrepreneur?
Well, so I still had a few things to say about starting a business with no money, but I want to say this one as well. But all right, so the thing is, when it comes to taking multiple risks as an entrepreneur, I'm not sure if there's another way to do it. I'm not sure if you can be an entrepreneur and have a successful business and avoid all risks at the same time. You can't have it both ways. Now, that doesn't mean that you just go out and take a risk willy-nilly. You take a calculated risk based on your due diligence, based on your research, based on your reconnaissance. You take a calculated risk, but at the end of the day, you cannot avoid them.
Right.
Well, I guess you can avoid them, but you will also be avoiding revenue.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to go back to the first one. Anybody got anything else on this one? Because that's big.
I'm timing real quick. Because we hit on some great nuggets, and yes, you have to yes, like he said, there's calculated risk. You can minimize your risk, but there's no risk avoidance. You just can't completely avoid risk. And in business, I mean, even in the accounting realm, we actually account for different risks that the company may have to take care of, or maybe we have margin of error, or whatever the case may be. So there is in any sense and form, it happens, you know. And if you're not taking a risk and going out there, then and trying new product lines or trying new services and doing different things, then you're really going to cap your business. And stagnant businesses overall, like, they fall to the wayside. You see Blockbuster, you know, they didn't want to innovate. They didn't want to go ahead and go the internet route, and now they're obsolete. So definitely making sure that you're taking the risk, because they can be lead to great opportunities and increase in revenue. But of course, that you're doing the proper due diligence and planning and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I think that you have to take some chances. You just have to be strategic on them. Like, don't take these crazy, crazy chances. But I think any way to advance in life, you have to take a chance.
Yes.
You can grow from it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Luke, so going back, can you start a business with small or no money? Bring it back. Come on, we can go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So it's just, all right. So it just so happened, right, that the last book I read, like a physical book, not audio or on Kindle, is $100 Startup, right? And in it, he mentions a few businesses that have started with little to no money. And I know some people are just going to want straight answers tonight, but many of our answers will be, it depends, right? I mean, I have an example of selling business cards in the mid '90s before Vistaprint. My buddy and I, we actually started making money before we spent any money, and we were 8th graders. So we took a bunch of pre-orders from adults, and they had to pay for those pre-orders. And once that money started coming in, then we bought our materials and started to meet the deadlines. But that's a literally middle school example of starting with zero money.
Michelle, do you have anything for the starting with zero or no money?
All my businesses, I started with no money. I had no money for nothing. But what I will say is that to give you an example with Embrace You Training Solutions, it started. I started it with no money, and it started with just an idea, and it was my 10-year goal. 10-year plan, should I say, from when I became certified as a life coach to build a curriculum where I would be certified coaches. Things moved so swiftly that it only took me 2 years. My plan was to already be up, established, running with my building, my office, and all of these things, and then do it. But it has become self-sufficient because I was diligent in what I was doing. A lot of times we don't properly plan, and we don't take in account what we can do and what we need to outsource to others. When Embrace You started, I was everything. I was the teacher, I was the curriculum builder, I was the printer, I was the graphic designer. I had to do everything, and it was because I knew I didn't have the money to invest in anyone who was able to do those things. So I lost a lot of sleep because I had to wear so many hats. So those are things that you have to take into consideration when you don't have the money to do it. What's within your power to do, and what you need to reach out to get someone else to be able to do for you. But it's absolutely doable because, yeah. But I stayed on my job. I still work my full-time job. I worked a lot of extra hours, and I allowed my job to be my resource for my business. And people often say, even now, why are you still at your, my supervisor even says, why are you still here?
Oh.
And I said, because my 9 to 5 fund my passion, and it allows me to be able to keep it as a passion. So if you don't have the money, get a job. Or 2.
Hey, Angela, I see you on. Thanks for joining and share. Show us some love if you're on and watching, and we'll definitely bring you up on the screen and shout you out as well. Definitely want to give some feedback. We're getting some awesome feedback. Failing to plan is planning to fail, and that's the truth. Like, it really is. Here goes another one. let us know your responses. Go ahead and share in. We want to support you and kind of help everyone. This is a networking opportunity. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'm going to bring it into the content realm. Can a business post too much content?
That's a good question.
This would be one of what Lou said, depends.
Well, go ahead, Luke and Autumn.
Depends.
All right. So some people are going to disagree with me, and that's okay, because everyone has the right to be wrong. What I'm going to say is that no, I don't think a business can post too much content if it's good. Now, the thing is, a lot of times people are posting content just to post content, and it's not well thought out. It's not touching the pain points of your target audience. And if you're posting bad content, then just one piece is too much. But if you're posting good content, things that actually positively impact your target audience, then there's no such thing as too much, because you're adding value to those people who are looking to you for value.
Right. So I would come back to, where is the content being posted? That would be my comeback, because how it's being posted, I think, determines where you're posting at. Your website, yeah. The content, unfortunately, social media, it pops to the top, the most recently posted, right? So depending on the content and the flow, it can kind of get all over the place. Something can actually be highlighted from 2 weeks ago, and then you can lose what you're currently talking about now. So it's like 50-50. It depends on where you're posting, but like you said, the importance of the content, that's the key. The audience that you have, but they say social media, they encourage no more than 2 to 3 a day, because you don't want to drown it and lose what you're doing as well.
Yeah.
So I go for at least 2 at the max, but I try to go for at least 1 to get it and just kind of keep that 1 to be relevant. But it depends on your business, and I think it depends on what you're using it for. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's a hard question. Do y'all have any feedback on that one as well?
So it depends if you have a personal page and a business page, because some people don't have that separation. So if you're posting a lot of personal stuff and then you're posting a lot of business stuff, it can get jumbled, and it will sometimes get confusing, especially if you're one of those people who like to be very vocal on social media about your likes and dislikes. So it really depends. Like Luke said, what are you sharing? Because if you don't have a separation in what you're sharing, your business information will get overshadowed by your rants and your drama. So depending on what it is, like I have my personal page, but because I'm a coach, I'm my brand. So there's really not a way for me to separate the coach from the person, because I'm the brand ambassador. So I kind of make sure I keep my Michelle Kennedy Facebook page, pretty business. Like I will, go and post something silly, or post my dog when she sleep at work, and things of that nature. But I generally try to keep it business focused, because again, it's where I generate business. So it depends on what you're posting.
Wiley, you have any feedback for this one?
So on a marketing tip, I'm still trying to figure it out. So usually I just kind of go whatever flows. Yeah, I put content out there, but I mostly hand it off to a marketing team. But yeah, that's what I have to say on that side. But
when you're posting a lot, that story is key. You know what I'm saying? Like the story will kind of trail. The story is key when you post a lot.
Yeah, make sure that you post in the stories, because most people, they won't necessarily engage with you on your feed, but they will definitely engage on your stories and stuff like that. So be active on your stories, and you can post as much as you want on your stories, and it won't feel like you're flooding them. Like sometimes on the feed, you post like 4 posts, and it's like, oh my gosh, they keep popping up on my feed. But on their story, they're watching your story to find out what exactly is going on with you in particular. So definitely don't be afraid to post on your story. And also, yes, that keeping your brand, your business, and your personal brand, really making sure that you personally, you are a representation of your business. So, like, there's no separation between the two, even though business you exists and then personal you exists. They can be like, woo, fun Wadleen and then business Wadleen, but they're still they're still the same person, right? And
I like how they have different voices.
right, they have different. So you want to make sure that you're not how you're that the post different things that you're putting out there when you're venting or whatever the case may be, because it's still a reflection of your business. So you don't want it to hurt your business or have a bad reflection on your business because you put something out there that wasn't what's the word I'm looking for? Easily digested by the viewers, by your clients.
That's very good.
Yeah.
So few shout outs. Hey Tiffany, she's sharp. Thank you for joining and watching. Definitely got to get you on sometime as well. But thanks. Definitely shout out to Tiffany. Mm-hmm. And then Marche did comment back. She noticed that for her story as too, like you were saying when you're posting on the story. Mm-hmm. So that was awesome. Naja said we don't hit every aspect of this topic. I think we hit it like 4 different quarters. And Greg, awesome. So glad to have you on, Greg. Consumers connect emotionally and then justify the buying decision logically. That's good feedback.
Yeah.
Yes, that is. That's good.
All right. So, like I said, I'm playing around with topics because we got a lot. So recommendations on starting multiple projects. Would you recommend it or would you say one at a time? It seems like that was actually the question. Recommendations on starting multiple projects. Very general, but it could touch so many different ways.
I digress already.
Oh no.
Oh man. Okay, so it depends. So the thing is, all right. Some of my examples will be food related because I really enjoy eating. It depends on the multiple projects, right? So if you're creating a meal, you're gonna be doing multiple projects probably if you're making the macaroni and cheese and the collard greens and the baked candy yams and oh by the way, we don't have a main dish yet. We have so if you're gonna do all of that in one day for Thanksgiving or for Sunday dinner, you are doing multiple projects. Each dish is a project, right? So I think that the most valuable thing, if you're going to do just one project, or if you find yourself in a position that you have to do multiple at one time, just plan properly. It would be more beneficial for you to take an entire day and do nothing else but plan than it would for you to just start running. Now, there are some things that you will have to learn as you go, but planning is so essential. It's better to, if you have 1 hour to chop down a tree, it might not be a bad idea to sharpen that blade for 45 minutes, as opposed to whacking away with a dull blade because you see the countdown happening. So sharpening your blade, doing your research, and planning is very, very essential. A young lady said it earlier today. Failing to plan is planning to fail.
Yeah.
So you have to, if you're going to do multiple projects, take a moment, lean back, and write it out. Make sure it makes sense. Touch base with someone that has no idea what you're doing and bounce it off of them as well. As long as they're like-minded individuals. But you have a lot of resources to make sure that these multiple projects are successful. And I'm speaking not from past experience, I'm speaking from current experience as well. So, every now and then I see a time where I have to lean back a little bit and recalibrate the way I'm approaching these projects. So, all right, that was my rant.
No, Yeah.
He been touching a lot of stuff. Like, oh, I ain't got too much. Anybody
But
else?
I
want to
guess
chime
I'm
in on
ready
this?
now. I guess I'm ready. I think because I am the worst person to talk about this subject, because I do so many things, but I would encourage you to know what your capacity is. You may be that one talent person. So if you're that one talent person, who can manage one talent, manage that one talent really well. If you are a five talent person and you can manage those five talents, do them really well. What you don't want to do is sacrifice the quality of what you're doing for the quantity to say you're doing a whole lot of things. And also, don't be afraid to shift your focus, because there will be a time you have five different things that you're doing, but then there's one thing that you're focusing on. We talked a lot earlier during the pandemic because I was baking 20 cakes a week. For the month of August, I knew that I needed to prepare because I rewrote the curriculum for both of my courses. So I said for the month of July, I'm not selling any cakes. Does that mean that I've stopped my baking, or I failed at it? No, I've had to recalibrate the energy that I spend on prepping and performing and baking to doing something else. So know your capacity, because if you have it, the worst thing can happen to someone who has the ability to do multiple things is to run into somebody who can only do one thing, who tell them you should only do one thing at a time. And if you know that you have the ability to juggle multiple things, go for it. But know what your capacity is. Nobody can tell you that. You know your capacity, but make sure that you're not sacrificing the quality of what you're putting out for the quantity. And this is my last thing, I promise, on this. So don't get caught up looking at what other people do, how much they're handling, and thinking that because someone else is doing multiple things, that you should do multiple things too. Because you don't know what's going on in the background, and we only show people our pretty picture. So if you're sitting back and you're eyeing someone's pretty picture, you'll mess around and you'll lose a lot of time, money, and resources trying to chase after somebody else's pretty picture. So know what your gift and talent is, and do what you do really well. I digress.
Yes, yes, yes. So the only thing I want to add to that is that I actually know a brother he's under 45 and he's running 14 businesses himself. Now he's not doing everything by himself, but he's managing 14 businesses, and I know that that's not for me. 14 businesses by himself. I mean, 14 businesses to be leading. I know that that's not for me, but I did take a peek on how does he attack these things, and he actually so he only deals with each one of those things once every 2 weeks, but he spends that entire day looking at the past, looking at what's going on now, and looking at some milestones and planning, doing strategy, so on and so forth. But he spends an entire day, but he's not looking at that unless something is wrong for the next 2 weeks. And the following 13 days, he's doing the same thing for each individual business. That's too much for me. Just saying it to y'all makes me tired, but it works for him, and it has worked for over 5 years now. So, I mean, he can do it. I can't. Yeah.
Marche said she needs a planner, Michelle.
Yeah.
I got you, boo. Hit me up.
I'd like to touch on that as well. Just because I like to tackle like focus, because making sure that you are what Luke was basically hitting on was how this guy focused on one project during that time. Mm-hmm. And that's why he's able to manage the different businesses. So a lot of the times we have so many different projects going on. Businesses, for example, because I know quite a few business owners, entrepreneurs. When we have that entrepreneur spirit, we want to start different things because we see so many things that need to be fixed. and we see where we can fix them, and we see different industries that we can get into, and we're excited, right? But we're not focused on one thing, and then they all start to fail because we're not bringing it home, focus, completing one project and then moving on to the next. So really making sure that we're planning that time period where we're going to say, hey, I'm going to focus on getting Grand Rev to the level where it's sustainable, and then I have an exit plan. And then I'm going to go make, I don't know, window shutters divine. I just looked at it.
Sounds like a plan.
I don't know. You know, I want to make sure everybody got the best windows ever, but I need to make sure I have my exit strategy in place and have Grand Rep to a level where it's sustainable and then move. So really making sure, because there's people that start businesses every 6 months and they're successful because they're making sure in those 6 months, they're concentrating on getting that business to a level where it's sustainable. It's tracking. You're not starting 5 different businesses within those 6 months. Focus on one during that time period, and then make sure that it has what it needs in place so that you can go ahead and perfect the next project. But yeah.
And I will say that another thing that has to be key when you're doing multiple things is your time management. How are you managing your time for the different things that you do? One of the time management techniques that I teach coaches is called chunk it, block it, tackle it, where you chunk the project. If you have multiple things, chunk them in smaller projects, and then you block out the time, plan the time that you're going to focus on those projects, and then you tackle them one at a time. And that way you're not feeling overwhelmed like you're trying to run 100 yards when all you really need to do is to get a first down.
Oh.
Okay. So I'm gonna run it back. Finance. Do service-based businesses have to pay for taxes to the IRS?
Everyone pays taxes. So the dead pay taxes. So you don't escape it, but there are where you see like those entities that pay zero taxes, like Amazon and things like that. It's not that they didn't pay taxes; it's that they were able to get like credits and stuff that that in a way made up for the taxes that they paid. So it kind of like I pay taxes, I get credit, we canceled each other out, but it's not that they didn't pay taxes. And I know like even really me when I'm speaking, I'm like, hey, pay the least amount of taxes or avoid taxes or things like that. But you don't just like, hey, taxes is non-existent. You know, everybody pays it, but in different ways, and then you could get credits that get that go towards that tax liability that you have, so that at the end of the day you don't have to actually get anything else out of your pocket to pay towards taxes. So service-based businesses, yes. You don't have like your normal sales tax like a product-based business, but you still have your employment taxes, your estimated taxes that you have to pay depending on your revenue during the year. Yeah, so there's 4 main different types of taxes, and you really like, taxes is something that there's estate taxes when you pass away and you're handing down your estate. Like, I mean, it goes in depth. Tax law is definitely interesting.
And they said anybody can schedule a free consultation, or a 15-minute consultation with you at least to kind of get a standpoint if they need help. I would think too, to kind of go more in detail.
Absolutely, absolutely. So schedule your 15-minute consultation. It's absolutely free. And then if you're a business owner, or really somebody that's like, I mean, we're all paying taxes, right? Anybody, whether you're an individual or a business owner, really sitting down and creating a tax strategy for the year is essential, because you're like, now you know, okay, I need to put this and this, that into place so that I can minimize the amount I'm paying in taxes, or I can make sure that I take advantage of these credits because I put this in place this year. So we're in July going into August now. You have 4 months to possibly get some stuff in order so that you could take advantage of it in the 2020 tax year. So really making sure you sit down, even if you have a simple question that you wanted to ask about, how you can go about your taxes, definitely schedule that free consultation on our website, grandmefinancial.com.
Awesome. So this business owner said, everyone asks, what is my budget for marketing? But is there a range? So I'm assuming that they're going to consult for marketing and they're asking what the budget is. But I guess they don't want to disclose which the budget is truly theirs. More or less, they're trying to look for a range. I know Luke got feedback on the marketing aspect on paying for marketing. Would y'all say that there's a range though? The range, me personally, the range would be what you can afford, what is according to your budget as well, because you can come in asking for a whole social media package, promotions, that will definitely change what you're looking at. So the marketing goes a long way, even down to the website. Like it's you can go to someone and pay thousands of dollars, or you can it just depends on what you're looking for and what you're trying to do.
Yeah, and also I think it's a fair question, but my issue with it is that I would need more information to give a good answer, to give a better answer to that question, because yes, there's a range for it, because there are some guys in Jacksonville paying over $10,000 a month for marketing. And there are also some doing it pretty much on their own, excuse me, doing it pretty much on their own, bootstrapping, and they're paying close to zero. So I mean, that's a huge range. And I wouldn't want to say, well, yes, there's a range. You could pay more than 10 grand a month, or you can pay less than $10. It's all, I would definitely start with what your budget is and what your plan is for, what your plan or your goal is for the marketing. What do you want to see with the marketing? Are your goals just to get more views? Which there's nothing wrong with that. Some goals are to get more views, get more exposure. Some goals are to actually make your phone ring for an appointment. Some goals are to have somebody swipe immediately and buy your product or service. So it all depends on what the goal is, and then attach that to how much money you have to spend, and then work backwards from there.
I agree. I don't feel this is like one of the things you can Google and say, what is the range for marketing? Like it's not one of those really Googleable things.
Absolutely not.
Like you're looking at an hourly pay or something like that of a position. Marketing stretches, like you said, it can stretch extremely far or extremely thin. I feel if you're looking into marketing, do some research and actually look at some different options, and then you can kind of price line or ballpark where you have different opinions. But marketing is touchy. Marketing can be costly, but ideally, isn't that about 20% of your business cost is your marketing?
Thank you. Right? I'm glad you touched on that.
Yeah. Hit it, Waddle. Hit it.
It can definitely get expensive.
It's overlooked, but it's one of the most valuable aspects of a business.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So and a lot of people, they forget about marketing or they push it to the wayside. And marketing is one of the essential parts, and it's sales department, right? Because you have the core areas of business. You have your operations, you have your financial side, and you have your marketing. And marketing really consists of sales, everything that gets the CRM, everything that gets the customer through the other parts. And we leave, a lot of the time business owners leave that out of the way, like they don't invest enough in their marketing, or they invest for a period of time and then they stop because they got enough clients. But you should be constantly investing in your marketing, and it doesn't have to necessarily you're putting $1,000 in ads. It could be you getting a new maybe a wraparound car for the business, maybe new polos or name tags or whatever that's good paraphernalia for the business. These are different marketing tactics, maybe a commercial, but really making sure that you're putting aside, 10 to 20% of the business's revenue into marketing. Like it's so essential that you're putting that into the budget, because you're gonna reach a certain point where you're at a dead zone where you're like, oh shoot, like things have slowed down, and it was because you were constantly putting money into your marketing. You aren't constantly reinventing maybe updating the website, updating social media, reinventing the company. Maybe the look is obsolete, whatever the case may be. But really making sure that you're putting that in the budget. Like, I go through businesses books all the time, and they're taking like 50 cuts out of their business, and paying themselves. And it's like, but what are you putting into the other aspects of your business?
Right.
You're paying yourself this amount, but how are you going about getting new clientele, or getting that client that you ultimately want to have? Because we want those high level clients. We want those, different type of industry clients, but we're not able to get them because we're not marketing our business the right way. We're not putting money into the right places. So making sure, look, 10 to 20%, it really should be 20%. But, when you're starting, getting your feet wet, maybe it could be starting out at 10. And then you really want to put that 20% in sales and marketing in your business. And there was something else I wanted to touch on, I can't remember. But yeah, go ahead.
You got it right. Yeah. Wow, I can't believe it's already 7:42. Like, I haven't even half of these questions. Like, literally, like part 2 definitely has to come. Like part 2.
Yeah.
So definitely want to hit on something which I know we can elaborate on again. How do you balance life and business, especially in the beginning?
No sleep. No sleep. There is no balance. I say that there's no balance because you're really getting things organized, and you're really gonna have to put in that time to planning and getting things organized. And until you get to that level of like, okay, this amount of time is going to be for business and that, it's really going to get it's really crazy in the beginning. Like I don't know a business owner where it's like, oh, yes, I have a life. Like, no, but you have those late nights. Even if you're like, hey, Tuesday is my day where I'm focusing on the business, I'm shutting down everything. That is your life for Tuesday. But maybe you enjoy your weekends with your kids and everything like that. That's okay. You have a work-life balance, but you know that you have to completely shut down on Tuesday and Wednesday to focus and organize your business and everything. But yeah, that time period in the beginning of your business is like pretty intense. Like, there's not really. I don't know if y'all have to.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, sometimes in the beginning it feels like a airplane taking off. They use a whole lot of fuel and a whole lot of energy getting up to altitude in the beginning, and then they can level off a little bit. So sometimes I think about it that way. There is a whole lot of energy, of time, of resources, brain power that goes into to starting off in the beginning. Now, some of that could be mitigated a little bit with some planning. Actually, I'm not sure about getting no sleep, but I have to get some. Because right, because like cognitively, you're working at a disadvantage if you are sleep deprived.
Right.
So, yeah, right. So sleep is important, but I will say that that incorporating your family members in some of the things you do kind of saves some of the time that you would have lost if you were just focusing on everything by yourself. I mean, if there's 1,000 letters that you got to send out, get the kids around the table with some snacks and have them stuff envelopes, or just incorporating some family time. For me, I'll speak for myself. Incorporating family time and getting some of the folks in here involved with a project, and it gives them a sense of buy-in. It gives them a sense of ownership, because at the end of the day, when they go in the refrigerator and empty it out, that stuff is in the refrigerator because of the business. So I'm gonna need you to help out too. Right? But it helps us to work all together, and we don't feel separated as much if we're doing this thing together. We're all bought into the same vision.
I agree. Michelle,
I
I know
call
you
my
got it, and then I'm gonna post some. We got some feedback too, so I'm gonna let you hit this one, and then I'm gonna post the feedback because we got some questions rolling in as well. So go ahead,
uh,
answer this one. Go ahead, capture this one, and we're gonna hit the question.
Uh-oh.
okay. So one, I call my children free labor. We all work in this. So and it benefited them as well as me because all the things I taught them as children, I see them implementing them now to the point that they all are entrepreneurs because they became part of the business as children. Even now, my grandson, I call him production. I need you to open up the laptop, plug it up, cut the lights on. We do this together. So use your resources, one. And then learn to reallocate time. When you're doing a business, there's a lot of things that you just can't focus on. Like you can't focus on hanging out. You can't focus on just strolling social media for just aimless hours because every minute that you're doing something that's not productive, you're depleting your resource of time from your business. And when you learn to reallocate time, then you're not to a point that you're spending so much time focused in on the business because the things that you normally would be doing, now you're doing that for in the business. And I saw where someone commented and said, what if I work full time? I work full time. I, I work a whole job. But I will work 8 hours for them, and then I will. Now that we're home, I will switch computers and work 8 hours for me, because I want to make sure that I'm pouring time and resources into me, so I don't get to hang out a whole lot. I don't get to sit in front of the television a whole lot. I will take my moments to reset because we all need to make sure that we're resetting because if you don't, you'll get burnt out. But learn to reallocate your time. Do what matters first. First things first, and control the controllables. And time is something that your time is something you have control over. I'm gonna leave it there.
So I wanted to chime back in on this question and then also see if anyone else has any feedback. We all start from somewhere, and like she said before, something has to support what we're doing, our passion. So I work full time, but I have a business that was a passion. It grew, and I made it where it was sustainable, where that way I got with Grand Rev Financial. I was able to hire on an employee to help support so I can continue to do my full time but also be able to continue my business so it's sustainable. It continues to function, well oiled, no glitches and things. So that way you take the time to make sure what you're doing can operate and it can continue to run. When the
Mhm.
demand grows, guess what? I'm going to be looking to hire another employee to increase hours. I have to keep it sustainable so what it can keep on functioning doing what it needs to be doing. Me as CEO, what is my responsibility? Work with my employees, train them, make sure the vision is clear. There's things that I have to do on my end. So sometimes I don't have weekends. Sometimes I may be up late at night. It's an adjustment, but at the end of the day, it's growing and it's sustainable. So what's happening is still working. But I definitely, there's been some sleepless nights. There has been. I'm talking about notepad on the side of the bed. Oh, an idea just came on. I'm writing something down real fast. There.
Yeah.
But I think that's the lifestyle that we live and that we do, which makes us so strong at what we're doing.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And I mean, so when you're working full time and you have this burning vision that you want to bootstrap and turn it into a business, for example, your 30-minute or your 45-minute lunch break may not belong to you anymore. That belongs to your vision. You may not get to play and I know the person that asked the question is not playing games on their phone, but some people are, right? So you may not get to play Angry Birds during your lunch break because guess what? That lunch break time does not belong to you anymore. It belongs to your vision.
Yes.
And if you think about it, regardless if we have services or products, we're all serving our customers. We're all serving public or serving a client. So when you think about it like this, your vision could positively impact people that you haven't even met yet in 6 months, next year, right? So if it could positively impact them, you would be robbing them of that opportunity by not grinding as hard as you can to make it happen.
Mhm.
Some people that you haven't met before are counting on your product, counting on your service.
That's true.
So I mean, we have a responsibility to each other as well. It's a community, common unity.
Look, I remember when I first started. When I first started life coaching, look, I would schedule 15-minute coaching sessions and coach on my break. I would schedule 30-minute coaching sessions and coach on my lunch. I walk out the door, I will get off at 7:30. I will schedule a coaching session at 7:40. So I know that by then I'm in my car. I had a 25-minute commute. So that was another 30-minute coaching session. So you have to learn to reallocate and use all your time. Well, now we don't, and I'm so grateful to not have a commute. But I did lots of business just riding. I would say I'm in my mobile office. Like I did a lot of business just riding. So yeah, definitely you got to use all that time.
Yeah.
I just
That's
said
awesome.
she hasn't watched TV in months. She rarely sleeps more than 4 hours because she's fueled by inspiration to build. I think even for me, I work a 9 to 5. I have a family. You know, you have insurance, different aspects of that growth. My goal is for ADQM to be my 9 to 5, my all day, my one and only. My vision is strong to make sure that is a reality, and that's what pushes and thrives me. I think we have to tap into why and that vision to support what we're doing and how we're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Man, everybody on this call don't sleep, but I'm gonna be honest. You know, oh, she said I do get sleep. But I'm gonna be honest. It's hard. You know what I'm saying? It's hard when you have the family. It's hard when you have, you know what I'm saying, your lifestyle, your business, you know, different things that you're doing to adjust all around. It's a challenge. It can be a challenge.
Yes, it definitely is. And I remember starting Grand Rev. I actually launched Grand Rev twice. So my first time around, I launched it. I was like, oh yeah, and then I was like, wait, I'm gonna go and go to school and get my CPA and all that good stuff. And testing and doing my CPA at the same time, and running the business at the same time, it was like hectic. So then finally tax season was coming around. I was like, I gotta relaunch. I relaunched, and then going into that, I was like, I started, my job started getting affected. So my work, my 9 to 5, I was slacking on their entries. I was missing months and everything. And I was like, ooh, because clients were pulling me out, and then my boss would be like, yo, I think you were gone for 4 hours. And I was like, oh, you know this? Like, because I'm taking on clients like back to back, like, and then sometimes like some people have like really big taxes. So I'm out of the office for hours. And then finally she started noticing and everything. I was like, yeah, it's time for me to go. And then I took that leap and I went ahead and went full time and Grand Rev. But really it's like, once again, that risk, because that first month, it was January, it was a slow start. I was like, oh my gosh, did I make the right decision? And then I'm going into it, picking up and everything. I was like, oh, okay, it's moving. COVID hit. I had to restructure my business. And now it's my full time. Like my house, my everything is counting on the income I bring into this, and making sure that Grand Rev is also going to the next level as well. And I was, you know, so just making sure that, but you still have some time for your sanity. So, and then of course with your family, making sure that you're connecting with your family as well. Like I go and I see my mom and things like that, but for your sanity, making sure that you carve out some time for yourself. Self-care is definitely necessary. And time, because I had to get to a point where I was like, okay, I have to set Grand Rev's hours, because it's becoming overwhelming where I'm constantly like putting out fires with my clients, and they're reaching out to me at different hours on Saturdays, even on Sundays sometimes. I'm like, okay, it has to come to an end. So really making sure that you're structuring your hours, you're taking some time for yourself, and like cleaning it up. You need to protect your sanity.
How does it feel though? How do you feel? Like, how do you feel right now with your business and everything? How do you feel?
I feel great overall. So like, just finished tax season, and I was like, whew, tax season out the way. Now getting ready for a new tax season, but also like onboarding two new bookkeeping clients. So, and then right now I'm in the process of hiring as well. So it's a little hectic, but it's exciting as well, because it's like the business is growing, like yay, but also like making sure that I stick to that 9 to 5 block with my clients because they're so used to like, hey, hello. I'm like, hey, no, I'm not picking up now. Hold up. So yeah, so it's a journey, definitely.
Gotcha.
So we're at 8 o'clock, so we're at our hour mark, and we definitely have to come back for part 2 because I have several questions still unanswered, and I'm pretty sure we're going to have more on. I do want to leave a question for everyone watching. What would help with that transition? Working a 9 to 5, your product base or your service base, what will help to support your business to be sustainable? So that way you can stick around. You can continue to do both until you adjust, but you kind of see that growth because it's hard. It's hard when you work in somewhere and you can't be somewhere to sell products or you don't have a storefront. You know, what actually would help and support you as a business owner to help you progress, to help you grow. So leave us some comments and share. We'll come back with some answers. But are y'all down for next week? I think we need to bring this back and table it back. I'm talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Got 8 more questions though.
Okay.
And we did not like touch yeah. This has been awesome to support. We definitely want to make sure that we're supporting your growth. Marche said, "Congrats, Wadeline, for your growth."
Oh, thank you, Marche.
We got a lot of feedback, so we definitely want to support and thank you everybody for joining. But we're gonna bring this back. We're gonna make sure I stream it from the ADQM page this time because didn't do that, but I did post it there. But I was excited, and I think this growth is awesome. Yeah, I want to close out with any words at all or say anything.
Every good player needs a coach.
Hey. I'll close it out with wealthing up. Really, just making sure that we're concentrating on and staring out our finances in their face, so that and we're not running from it and embracing it, so that we can ultimately wealth up.
Luke, I got a message for you on the screen.
Let's see.
Oh yeah.
Gotcha. So to sign off, I would just say that if you wait on a perfect chance or a perfect opportunity or perfect conditions, you will never move forward because they don't exist.
That's big.
That's good.
You can't wait on all the lights are going to be green before you pull out your driveway. Start driving first, and then you'll see the obstacles and navigate around them.
I agree. I'm gonna close off with be ready for change and able to adapt. It's okay to not become comfortable, but we have to be able to adjust.
Mm-hmm.
So thank y'all for watching and joining. See us next week, Thursday, 7 o'clock, round 2. Send your questions. We're here to give you the feedback and help support us. Give us your feedback too. We all have a valid point in this, and we thank you so much for all the feedback today. See y'all later.
Thank you. Good night.
Right now.